so there's this weird interplay between crypto payments, banking, and cannabis, right? And you see a lot of, and I'll tackle this from the aspect of the cannabis coins, right? Your Dogecoin and the likes. And I see a lot of attempts to circumvent the dearth of banking, or the alleged dearth of banking for cannabis companies with crypto. And that poses some problems, which I'll get into. And this really is built upon, or this need to create this alternative quasi-banking system is built upon this belief that there are no banks that will deal with legal cannabis companies, and that's not the truth. In fact, there's approximately 550 banking institutions that will accept cannabis, legal cannabis related companies, and about 150 credit unions. Now, most of them are state chartered. Obviously, the credit unions are state chartered. And the reason being is that federally, cannabis remains a Schedule I narcotic, remains illegal, right? And so you have 33 odd states that have legalized cannabis in some shape or form, and you have banks in each of those states, effectively, that will take the business, right? It'll take the business, but there's still a great deal of regulation, extra regulation that comes with it, right? And as a bank, obviously, even a state chartered bank, the Bank Secrecy Act applies, right? And as I've spoken about here in many instances before, the rules that apply to money service businesses will also apply, and that mainly concerns SARS reporting, suspicious activity reports. And the government, FinCEN, has actually provided guidance with respect to banks that deal with cannabis companies, and they've kind of created this three-tiered system for cannabis-related banking, right? And it breaks down SARS, right? So you have a limited priority SARS, which is effectively every transaction that relates to a legal cannabis company, right? And that's obviously voluminous, right? Then you have a priority SARS, which the bank believes relates to certain priorities set forth by the Department of Justice, mainly involving, or all involving, some form of illegal activity, money laundering, drug trafficking, you name it. And then you have the termination SARS, which is when the bank terminates the banking relationship with a legal cannabis company for really any reason, but primarily for some level of uncomfortability in dealing with this business and its operations. And so you go back to, again, this hyper need and all these projects that are out there. Well, we're gonna circumvent the need for real banking with a token, right? We're gonna create this cryptocurrency quasi bank, and we're going to, we're gonna solve all the problems of your legal cannabis operators, right? And operators include not only dispensaries but growers, and then the question becomes: does it include people who are on the periphery? Does it include, resellers, wholesalers, service professionals, accountants, attorneys, right? Are they included therein? Who knows, right? That's another discussion for another time. But the question becomes, for the crypto promoter who's going to go out there and try to start something, is one, are you a money service business? And we've heard from FinCEN in recent months, if you're doing an ICO, you definitely are. And if you're offering any sort of redemption, right, fiat for crypto and vice versa, then you're definitely a money service business, and you would have to register as a money service business, right? Which we've discussed before. It's not that difficult, and it's the right thing to do. It's definitely the right thing to do, and out of an abundance of caution, you would do it. But the question becomes compliance, right? Can you comply? And in the event of these quasi-crypto cannabis banks, Do you then have to apply to the three-tiered SARS reporting system? And obviously you would. That's Bank Secrecy Act promulgated. You're a money service business, you fall under the Bank Secrecy Act. So really, all of these tokens, right, that in these attempts to create, you know, currency-like features through crypto, while perhaps, you know, in the right vein, right? Because you're trying to solve a purported problem. Now, I look at the 550 banks that are out there and say, it's not that big of a problem. And you see the Safe Banking Act coming on, which would conceivably open up many, many more banks for crypto or cannabis business. But I don't think there's any way a crypto coin can comply with with Bank Secrecy Act regulations in the cannabis sector, right? Dogecoin and the like, they've just created this kind of quasi-currency that, you know, operates on its own. There's no redemption features, anything like that. When you start looking more towards like a stable coin or some coin with a redeemability factor, something like that, then you go back to being a money service business, and there's just no way, I think, for whatever that's worth, that you could comply with Bank Secrecy Act SARS reporting requirements in the three tiers that FinCEN's promulgated. It's literally impossible. The compliance burden would be extraordinary, and it just financially and mechanically wouldn't work. So it's again, like, I don't begrudge promoters of these projects going out there and saying crypto can solve the cannabis banking problem. I think there's some logic to it. And it's definitely a problem, right? There's definitely a problem. There's a problem, you know, and blockchain, I believe, can solve a great host of problems. But under the current framework, right, and the need for these projects to become money service businesses, you fall under the auspices of the Bank Secrecy Act, and you're just like a bank, right? You are what you seek to be, which is a bank. And unfortunately for you, that requires a great deal of SARS reporting and compliance, which, quite frankly, is very, very difficult to comply with, especially when you consider the nature of crypto and how you want to transact, right? So that's my take, kind of pontificating, but I think it's worth investigating, right? Especially as you see the Safe Bank Act come online, and you're going to see more banks potentially get into the legal crypto or legal cannabis business. You know, do you really have a need for this alternative currency, this alternative crypto cannabis currency? And I think the answer is it just won't work, so you don't, unfortunately. But I'm always open to debate, so definitely hit me up, Adam at AdamTracy.io, and I will happy to answer any questions you have, and I'll talk to you later.